we go. Day 3.
Italian marble.
You ready?
I'm ready since 3 o'clock in the morning.
So, onto the bus and off we go. More talks by Paul. And here is the exciting agenda that we have for day 3. Finish off with Lexus. Looking forward to that. Our first stop of the day is Moltec. Moltec is an injection moulding company, 75 people, with about 17 million turnover. And here's the owner and the operations director who walked us around. They make parts for Lexus and Denso. What an amazing company. 14 minutes for changeover of those injection moulds. They're big ones. That was stunning. Quality inspection, quality all the time. Everywhere we see people are inspecting work. And 2.4 days worth of stock. And in dispatch, we see the truck preparation lanes where the work is ready for the truck before it turns up. And it's all built around the customer Kanbans, which are sent to them from Lexus and their other customers. Amazing to watch. Then we went out and saw their production cells, and here we can see a cell that had been clearly designed using the thought of elimination, reduction, move and combine. What I mean by that is you eliminate the waste where you can. Where you can't, you reduce it. If you can't, you then move it and you combine it externally in something like a water spider. And here we can see parts that are delivered by the water spider directly to the operator, so they don't have to move much when they're actually assembling the parts. And here's us pointing at the call signal for the water spider to come and fill up some of the work for their people. Brilliant. So what did I learn from Moltec? Well, quality is key. Yet again, everything is about quality in all the suppliers that you see. Quality is the most important thing. And then you talked about health and safety being number 1, followed by quality, and then using TPS, Toyota Production System, to improve their cost base. And they learnt all this as part of the supplier improvement program, where Lexus works with its suppliers to develop them over the long term so they're profitable and successful. Amazing. Back on the bus, and we went to a shopping mall, and here Paul took us through some alternative things we can see. Visual management in restaurants showing you the food that you can eat outside. The famous barber where you can visually see the wait time and all the waste has been reduced to make your time very quick, and the barber's very value adding. See Paul's video on that. We saw some amazing fruit and vegetables all laid out, and here we can see some very expensive apples, around about £6, that are individually wrapped. And then we had lunch at the Shabu Shabu restaurant, where you cook the food yourself.
Shabu, 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 shabu. Shabu, shabu, shabu.
And after our really fun lunch, we're back on the bus, and we went to one of the highlights of the tour for me. We went to the Lexus plant. But before we toured Lexus, we did a couple of things. The first thing we saw was Toyota Home. Toyota Home is a factory-built set of houses that you can buy to be erected and installed on your site in anything from 3 to 5 days. Amazing. And we saw some activities that showed how much better they are resistant to earthquakes. And here is us looking around the home. And Paul then took us through the history that started.
And Sakichi Toyoda, founder of the Toyota Motor Company, and this is where it all started. He was a carpenter, so I identify with him very much. His mother was working on a loom, trying to make a little bit of money, very small amount of money, and he observed his mother struggling to do the work, and what she had to do is every time she had to move this shuttle from this side to this side, she had to stop, take her hands and push it through, and then weave one time, push it, and then stop, and then push it back. And he was flying a kite, and he noticed that whenever the wind caught the kite, it created a little jerk in his hand. Remember I told you about lateral thinking? Remember I told you about my glue bottle idea? Line. And said, what happens if we were to put a line, see this line right here, and tie it to a foot pedal, and then every time my mother wanted to move that shuttle, she just hits it with her foot and snaps it. So now her hands are stay put from side to side, right there, so it pushes the shuttle through. See how that works? And that was his first improvement, the very first improvement that Sakichi made as a young boy, making improvement after improvement after improvement. And that's how this whole thing started. I made improvements my entire life before I learned lean, but I didn't understand how many improvements were possible because I didn't understand waste. And then I saw waste. So my challenge to you is, what is your string? What is your string? What is your simple little thing, your simple little innovation that will lead to something so powerful that it can change everything in your life?
And Paul then explained the concept to us of 1 step, 1 second, 1 yen.
Well, Toyota's saying internally is, hey, 1 step costs 1 second, costs 1 yen. So if we reduce the whole Toyota production system, everything you're going to see in this fabulous movie, it's as simple as total participation, making small improvements, the accumulation of small ideas from everyone. 1 step, 1 second, 1 yen. Touched 4 times more than a Toyota.
And then we got to tour the assembly line, where we walked over the top of it looking down. It wasn't as energetic as the Daihatsu plant. It was much calmer, much more precise, very, very clean, quiet, and the attention and focus of quality was stunning. This is a Lexus plant that builds the highest quality product anywhere. The other interesting thing I saw was mixed gender lines, both men and women working on the lines. Not seen that in previous assembly plants, really good to see. And an interesting thing we saw at the beginning was suppliers building sub-assemblies on site ready to deliver straight to the lines. We then moved on to the Lexus Training Centre, which train over 100 people a day. We saw Karakuri, automation without power, and health and safety. And this video I've taken from the internet that explains Karakuri for you. So here we see a cart that is dragged along by the conveyor to give the operator everything they need. But slowly over time, it is raising up some bottles of water, which is the weight, which is used with a string that they use to catch tuna with. And when it gets to the end and released, the weight of the water bottles will return it back to its beginning. Watch out, don't get your fingers trapped. Ouch, that was really hurt. So back on the bus, we learnt about keeping the rope tight. This is Paul's example where he talks about that you need to keep your 3S really good. You need to keep your procedures up to date. As leadership, you need to walk the lines and make sure everybody's following processes exactly and being motivated in terms of their improvements. And the reason being, if you don't, as soon as the rope goes slack, you will not be able to tug on it and change the direction of the business or change the direction of the need to do or improve and develop further because there's too much slack. So as leadership, we must keep focus on keeping the rope tight. And then we met Ken Mogi. What an amazing character. Ken is a neuroscientist and his passion is to find the soul and how it works in the brain. He is a broadcaster and a writer of many, many books. And he came to talk to us about Ikigai. Ikigai is the reason you wake up in the morning. It is the thing that gives you long life. It is the thing that is passion in your life. And he says that Ikigai has 5 things. Starting small, releasing yourself, harmony and sustainability, the joy of small things, and being here and now. Being here and now is about the ability to meditate, and when you meditate you release chemicals in your brain which de-stresses you and allows for memory and long-term repair in your brain. And it can also be activated by long walks, very interestingly. Joy of little things is about the pursuit of dopamine in your brain. Dopamine is the chemical that gives you a high and makes you feel good. So dopamine release is really good. So why not get that done from little things rather than huge big things that take so long? Releasing yourself is about getting into the flow. The flow is a really important characteristic because you know when you've done something amazing, because you lose the passage of time and you lose yourself. And also at the end of flow you get an amazing dopamine kick. So starting small is about growing little ideas over time and not big ones. It's about the small step on a long journey, and it's about starting with being humble. So my takeaways from Ken's amazing speech. Ikigai, the reason for getting up in the morning, finding that, and that will result in a long life. It's been shown many times that centenarians have really good Ikigai. Dopamine rewards in your brain. Well, find those best ways of doing it. And one thing he talked about, if I decide for you, you will not get a reward of dopamine. But if you decide for you, you will get that reward for dopamine. So as leaderships, we need to understand how the brain works and how we can motivate our people. And flow, the really important thing of flow, getting in flow and experiencing flow, then you've truly found your Ikigai and your way of doing things. And after the speech, we had an amazing thing. We had a perfect melon. Only the Japanese know how to make a perfect melon. What an amazing thing to finish today.
Japan is a crazy country. In no other countries, people make such an effort to make a perfect melon.
Exactly.
It's like Wagyu beef, right? Kobe beef.
Yes, Kobe.
Next time we should bring that guy.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Team 32. What a day. So what have we learnt? Well, again, health and safety, the most important thing that anything the leadership teams do, focus on health and safety, and then quality. Quality, quality, quality. Really, really important. We saw the water spider and how it can improve productivity in the work area, not just in terms of moving work, but in terms of value adding, reducing value adding in cells. 1 step, 1 second, 1 yen, a really important concept for people to get their head around of how they can improve productivity of the work they do all the time. Karakui, making systems that doesn't use power, using gravity and springs, etc. What an amazing concept and fantastic idea. Starting small is really important to make small improvements because of the reward that gives you in terms of the brain. But the really important thing that then brings is the joy of small improvements and finding small improvements all the time and rewarding yourself and your teams for the success that happens. Really interesting. Thank you.